Christy. Welcome to this version of Get to Know Your Elders. I have with me Pastor Tony Merida. Most of you see him each week behind the pulpit preaching that word. We're going to get to know the more personal side of him today. So, Tony, let's start. Tell us about how you came to faith, how you got into pastoring.
Yeah. So long story short, went to college on a baseball scholarship at a small school in Kentucky called Cumberland College. There I played shortstop. And my sophomore year of college had several guys on the team that just had a profound impact on my life, shared the gospel with me, answered my questions. And there's a pivotal moment that year where I went to a Fellowship of Christian Athletes meeting, a group of athletes and, among the college students, heard the good news, responded in repentance and faith, became a new creation, began growing in Christ, was discipled. I remember being in 3 or 4 Bible studies every week. And the Lord just radically changed my life. I began sharing my testimony a lot to various high school groups, middle school groups, on campus in Bible studies. And I really enjoyed speaking and just exalting Christ in that way. But it was more testimonial than it was expositional at that time. And so I began to have an interest in ministry. My junior year of college, met a seminary professor that did expository preaching 3 nights in a row. And I remember like it was yesterday where I was sitting as my heart was just burning inside of me like the Emmaus disciples, And I said, that's what I want to do the rest of my life. And so finished my degree, finished my baseball career, and packed a trunk and got on an airplane and flew to New Orleans to study how to prepare and deliver expository messages and how to do pastoral ministry. And just it was a very, very formative time for me there in New Orleans. And then a few years later, had the great privilege of pastoring in the city of New Orleans, where we saw a number of great things happen and also had some challenges like pastoring through Hurricane Katrina. That was 8 months into my first pastorate. So I've now pastored through Katrina and a global pandemic. So I don't know what that means, but it's been quite a journey.
Crisis pastor.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so Kimberly is your wife.
That's right.
And you proposed to her in a rather unusual way. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Kimberly and I met at youth camp. She was camp director. I was camp pastor. She's still the director. I'm still the pastor. And we, were friends all summer at this youth camp. Began a relationship after the summer. I think we were officially dating in November, and I proposed in April. And so went to her family's home, Northern Virginia. Her dad worked in the D.C. area for a number of years. And D.C. has been, really since we started dating, kind of our second home. We've just spent a lot of time up there. And she comes from a military background, and so we were there on a trip with some of her classmates, and I had a ring with me, an engagement ring, and when their little tour of the sites in D.C. was over, I whisked her away, and we went to Arlington Cemetery.
Of course.
And we got up on the hill overlooking the Washington Monument, in the Capitol and everything, and I said, these guys all died for a worthy cause, and I said, I want you to know that I want to lay down my life for you as well. And I won't give you all the details that I said, but
you can't say no to that.
I said, what's our favorite verse? And she said, Psalm 34:3. Oh, come and magnify the Lord with me. Let us exalt his name together. And I said, would you come and magnify the Lord with me in marriage? And so I put a ring on her finger, and she said yes. And we went down that hill like a leaf on a river of romance and made it to her parents' home. And there we celebrated with salmon and asparagus. And dancing. That's right. Yeah.
All right. So the two of you have adopted 5 kids internationally, just on 2 trips.
Yeah.
Just a story maybe that stands out from that time of walking through that process.
Yeah, so we were approved for 2 kids under the age of 5, and we went to Ukraine. And for various reasons, there wasn't a sibling group of 2 that we felt comfortable pursuing. And nobody adopts multiple kids in Ukraine. And I don't even think they were serious when they asked if we would consider 3. we looked through available children in this book of pictures and profiles, and then we didn't feel good about that option, and then we were asked about taking 4, and so at that point we just agreed to go meet the kids. And I'll just never forget driving 9 hours from Kiev to a small village and seeing the 4 kids walk in to the Russian orphanage director's office, all holding hands, not knowing what they were. I think they all thought they were in trouble, actually. The last thing on their minds that morning when they woke up and went to their classes, I think, would have been that a couple from America had come over to pursue them in adoption. And so we spent some time with them that day, and then they asked us if we wanted to pursue these children in adoption. And it's a very easy answer, honestly. It sounds like a lot now. It sounds quite heroic to some people, I guess, to adopt a bunch of kids. But when you're over there and you see hundreds of orphaned children, it seems like a very small thing. And at that time, that's the way it felt for me. So got home, felt like we had room for one more, and went to Ethiopia and brought home Iyasu about a year later.
Joshua. All right, I'm going to need my notes for this one. Okay, so besides being a husband and father, you're a pastor, a seminary dean, director of theological training for Acts 29, an author, a speaker, and you probably know your way around the gym. Walk us through a day in the life of Tony Merida.
I appreciate the comment about the gym. I don't know. My back's hurting right now from deadlifting yesterday.
As we all experience at times.
So yeah, I'm a fairly disciplined person, and I think the Lord's blessed me with work ethic, and I'm a planner, and so on a practical side, planning is vitally important to accomplish all that I need to try to accomplish. In addition to that, I have a great wife and a great team here at Imago Dei, great team at Acts 29, great team at Grimke. So I'm really surrounded by a remarkable team, and I just organize, I plan, I see what I need to do, what the goals are, and execute the plan. So it's not. I don't feel overwhelmed. I don't feel like I have too much going on. But if I didn't have a wonderful wife, wonderful team, elders and staff here at Imago Dei, and if I didn't have a great team at Acts 29, I couldn't do some of the things that I'm able to do. So in terms of just daily life, I'm pretty disciplined. I'm like an old man. I do the same thing every morning in terms of what I eat, and I spend an hour in the Word. I've been doing the same Bible reading plan for over 15 years. And then, depending on what day of the week it is, I'm either doing sermon prep, writing, or having meetings. I tend to write more on Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday is filled with meetings. And so I like to work out either in the morning, or I'll work from like 7 to 11, and then I'll do workout 11 to 12, 12:15, grab protein drink, take a shower, back in here at 1, finish the day up. So that's my preference, to kind of get some big stuff done first, so that I can just be free to go sweat and work out and talk to people. I love talking to people at the gym. Thursday, I kind of leave for blue sky thinking projects. Could have some meetings. Could be doing some stuff with Acts 29. It just kind of depends. I like to leave that space open. Friday's technically my day off, but sometimes I'll work up until about noon. I don't tend to ever work really beyond that unless I have to have a meeting later than that. Saturday morning, refresh up on the sermon for an hour or so, go on a prayer walk, and just get ready for Sunday. Sunday, I like to get up about an hour earlier than normal, just to get my heart ready to go for Sunday. So that's all in the week where I'm not traveling, and so that throws off that plan when that kind of thing happens. But to me, honestly, the biggest thing in my life is that hour with the Lord every day, and that I try to make happen regardless of whether I'm home or on the road. And everything really does flow out of that.
Yeah. So you planted IDC 10 years ago, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Looking back, what surprised you the most about planting a church?
So originally, I think we were surprised that our church grew. rather quickly. We didn't have a real church growth model. We weren't doing a lot of marketing. We didn't do mailers. We just did a lot of word of mouth. We emphasized the practice of hospitality and just being good neighbors. And so we grew pretty fast, and then we continued to grow, gradually through the years. And so I think the growth was a good surprise in many ways, but it also brought challenges. I think, I started out as a full-time seminary professor as well as a church planter, and I was teaching a lot of hours first 2 or 3 years. And so I was just surprised at how unable I was to do both things really well, especially when we didn't have any full-time personnel at the church yet. So again, that was a challenge early on to try to manage all of that. Other than that, just the Lord's kindness in giving us such a remarkable team here. I never doubted we'd have a good team, but this has been such an incredible place to serve, given core team, faithful members, elders. When I talk to pastors around the country, it's just remarkable, kind of the blessings that we've enjoyed here. And Ecclesiastes talks about how the years fly by when you're enjoying your life. That's what's happened here. I think this has been the fastest 10 years of my existence, largely because we've just had a lot of fun. And this has been a hard year. It's been a hard year for various reasons, but the Lord has really lavished His grace upon us. And we've seen a church start from a living room to become a church that's sustainable, that's vibrant, that has planted multiple churches and been able to be part of sending out multiple missionaries around the world. So just really some wonderful things that have happened in a short amount of time. And we've done a lot of things poorly. We've made a lot of mistakes along the way. I think we're kind of in a reboot season, if you will, coming out of a pandemic and being kind of the size we are now. So we've got a lot of challenges still in front of us, but just really grateful for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm. So you've written a few books, but who are your favorite authors?
Oh, wow. It really depends on the week, probably. John Stott has been a model for me, just the way John Stott does exposition, the way he's so concise. He can say so much, even in his preaching, in under 30 minutes. It's a wonderful goal to be able to have that much substance in a short amount of time. I love his writing style. I've been blessed through the years by a number of other authors. I quote many of them during the course of the week. And I don't really follow authors as much as I just look at books that I would find interesting, appealing, helpful for sermon prep. And so I could rattle off a number of them. I was really impacted several years ago by a biography that Arthur Dallimore wrote on Charles Spurgeon that was really shaping for me as a young seminary student contemplating pastoral ministry and stuff. So I've been really impacted by a lot of biographies through the years on a like inspirational level. And then there are a number of books that are just helpful for basic how-to in Christian ministry and then good theologies. I love commentaries. There's so many good commentators. I love just going book by book and telling people these are my favorite commentators in these various books. Mike Bird has become a good friend. He's written a great commentary on Romans. He's also full of humor, and he's fun to read. But guys like Tom Schreiner, Douglas Moo, some of these guys, a lot of people would not recognize, wouldn't know, but pastors have used their works for years and have been blessed by them. And they've just built up the church. And a lot of them, again, are not known in the broader public. And I just appreciate that and have for years about people who write commentaries, because after you write one, you realize how hard it is. And these guys are writing incredibly dense, thorough works. Some of them spending years and years and years on one book of the Bible. Gordon Fee on 1 Corinthians. I could go down the list of commentators. And so I just have an incredible respect for them as a hobby. Sometimes I go on Amazon and look for used commentaries that are old, and if I can find one for like $2-3 written by a stalwart in the field, that's just like finding a baseball card as a kid, and I got to get that.
Christmas shopping. Okay, if you had a bucket list, what would be on it?
Oh man, in terms of like what I would like to do?
Sure. Places to go.
Well, there's still several baseball stadiums I want to go to. So that would be at the top of the list. I think if I could go on a trip right now, I would love to go on a Mediterranean cruise. I would love to see some of the places where the Apostle Paul went that I haven't been able to go. Literally, last night I was reading about Thessaloniki and how we could fly through there on a trip to Crete. It's the second largest city in Greece, and I was just like, oh, this would be great. We could do Thessaloniki and Philippi because I've never been to either of those places. So I'm kind of a history nerd, I guess, when it comes to traveling. I love Rome, Milan, Paris, Israel, Egypt, all the places with great ancient history. So always up for a trip to one of those places.
Yeah. Okay, last question. If you weren't a pastor, what would you be?
Oh, wow. Realistically?
Let's do both, fictionally and realistically.
Realistically, I could slide into being a baseball coach. I've said before, when I step on the field, I feel more natural than being in the church. I can just instinctively coach. And so that would be easy. Maybe a trainer in the gym. That'd be a lot of fun. So that's kind of the jock side. I think in terms of the way I work with having a lot of intensity in certain book projects and stuff, that during certain seasons, I don't do that all the time, but certain seasons where I'm really just waking up super early and writing and stuff. I feel like being a lawyer, building a case and delivering in front of people, I think that would have if I had another life to live, I would have some kind of career as a lawyer would have been interesting. Of course, Judge Ulrich, who's here at IDC, I told him that one time. He said, you'd be going from the top to the bottom, being a pastor to lawyer. That was a good comment. No offense to all you lawyers. Hope you're doing great work. We need good lawyers. And then, gosh, I don't know. I think that about exhausts. I don't have a lot of skills, honestly.
Debatable.
Yeah, I was a teacher. So my degree was in high school education. So I did all my student teaching, was certified. I was going to be a teacher and a coach. So that's probably what I'd be doing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope you've gotten to know Pastor Tony a little better, and we hope you'll tune in, or better yet, show up Sunday morning for his next sermon. What will it be on? So
we started a series this week on the church. New series called Be the Church. Ephesians chapter 2 this week.
Excited. Thank you, Pastor Tony.